Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex and this is the Ramble, and we go until midnight tonight from New York, New York. The city's so nice. Yeah, they named it twice. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is once again, the lovely, the attractive, the indomitable, the President of the United States. No, it's Lori Thompson.
Hello, and 2 out of 5 is good, so I'll go with 2 of those. And let me be the first to compliment you on your U.S. Open shirt. You're looking pretty snazzy.
Oh yeah, well, that's from a couple of years ago. Marjorie used to get a lot of these when she went over to the U.S. Open, but she didn't go this year. So.
Really? To see Coco. Take it. I love Coco Gauff.
I know. We were cheering for her a couple of years ago. Marjorie has a T-shirt from like 4 years ago that says Team Coco on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Because, when you have a bunch of T-shirts and they're like either, you too rag to wear or whatever, there's a company that makes quilts out of your old T-shirts. You can probably find them on Etsy. I know
Really?
They used to advertise, in the back of Rolling Stone magazine.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so she's been a fan of Coco's for years, and been waiting for her to, come to the front to really win big, and she did.
She's
finally.
proud, isn't she? She's like 19.
19, and I was so happy for her. I mean, and I'm not a big follower of tennis. I know who the players are because Marjorie teaches me. And it wasn't until just last week that I figured out how the whole thing was scored.
Oh, that damn scoring is crazy. I just like it because it's back and forth. It's comforting.
Well, there are 5 games per set.
Okay. I need this tutorial.
And you have to win 3 out of the 5.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, no, wait a minute. No, for women, it's 2 out of 3. No, 3 sets, 3 games. So you have to win 2 out of the 3.
Now, if they can just start giving us the same money, that'll be great. Then we'll be willing to pay.
The women are getting the same money as the guys now.
I'm glad at the Open, because
Billie Jean King years ago lobbied for that. And but they only play 3 sets, so they should only get 3/5 of what the women
of the
get.
dough. Yeah, that's what I thought. No, we'll go 3 out of 5 if you want. Just give us the dough. Show us the money.
Yeah, show us the money. So I was very happy for her. It's a great moment in her life.
Yes, and she just breathes optimism. I mean, there's something about her that just is optimistic.
She's a very pleasant person. Her politics are in the right place. She's just really good. She's an example to other young players, and she is. I don't know if she's the youngest ever to win.
She's in a rarefied class.
She's
I think.
close though, and she can go the rest of her life and win every major, tennis competition going. And this one will still probably be the most wonderful for her, the most memorable for her.
Because you never get first.
Yeah. And she beat a Russian, so in the Cold War.
I know. It's like Coco Gauff beat some unpronounceable name. Yeah.
Well, they don't. They don't list Russia anymore. If a person's a Russian player, they don't list any country, and there's a black flag up there.
Really?
Yes, on the scoring.
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Whoa.
A lot of sports have decided that they're not going to recognize Russia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe they were waiting to see out of this Ukrainian skirmish who would win, so they were just leaving a black flag and then they could iron something on.
Yeah.
But not that.
No, it's just a black square there.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but it's funny, we're not going to let Russia be shown, right? So it doesn't say Russia, and there's a black flag, and you then know, oh, that must be Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of silly if you think about it.
It's very silly. Yeah. And what about, we got, and man, it's all China, 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 and it's just interesting to see there are pivotal times in American history, usually over the space of about like a decade to 20 years when a lot of things change. And I think especially if you read the headlines, do you remember on our show when we had Carl Sagan on?
Yes.
And you asked him to make a prediction. And he said by the year 2025, China will be the dominant power. And so,
did he say that? I don't remember it, but
he did say that, yeah, because it just like struck me like a skillet in the head.
Well, in those days, it didn't seem possible because they were still such a communist country. They were not a capitalistic country. They didn't have a lot of business and whatever. So you kind of went, what? China?
Yeah,
they're not set to do that.
Exactly, and this was in the 90s. When he made this prediction, calculation, call it what you want. And I just thought that was profound.
Well, we went to China.
Yeah.
And we love China. I mean, it's just wonderful. The people are wonderful. The country is wonderful. It's the politics that are fucked.
Yeah.
And
how does that filter into the day-to-day? Because you'd think that would make for a repressed people. And it doesn't, personally.
Marjorie's company supplied us with a driver for the 2 weeks that we were there.
Yay.
And she actually worked for the company, or she was brought in, whatever. She was with us for 2 weeks, for most of the 2 weeks. We went over to Guilin for about 4 days or something, but for the most part, she was our driver. And at one point I said, are you a communist? And she said, well, that's a member of the party. And I'm not a member of the party. I've never joined. And I said, how do you feel about the fact that you can't vote? And she said, well, if I wanted to, I could become a communist and I could vote. But, I don't care. Just as long as they don't bother me, and as long as I'm making a good living, and as long as my life is taken care of, they can go play their little games and play communist and do their, basically that's what she was saying. I don't care what they do. It was her attitude. And I think maybe that's the way most Chinese people feel. Those are those guys sitting in that big building, off of Red Square and Tiananmen Square, rather, and they make up all kinds of rules and stuff like that. But it doesn't as long as it doesn't affect me, they can play. We'll let them play their game.
Yeah, it's like the way we feel about the White House. Yeah. Oh, what are they doing? They're playing hide and seek today.
China is such a big country. I mean, we think the United States is a big country. China is a massively big country. And they've got, 1.5 billion people? I think something like that. I don't know the stat. It's incredible. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Echo, how many people are there in China?
In 2023, the population of China is 1.43 billion people.
1.43 billion.
That's a lot.
I was close.
And yet, do the cities seem like hyper crowded?
Well, here's what you go to Beijing. We were in Beijing. Mm-hmm. And Beijing is, you have never seen massive buildings, corporate buildings like these. I mean, they're just huge. They just built huge, and there's such a short people, oddly enough, but they build these huge buildings.
And those high ceilings, what a waste of air.
Well, I mean, I was just gasping as I looked at these buildings. We were driving down the main highway in Beijing, and I'm going, wow, You know, that's amazing. They've got a telecom building for their network, their television network, CCTV, and it is the most amazing building I've ever seen. It's like this Escher painting. You know, it's like,
Oh, really?
yeah. I mean, the stuff
Well-
all that's been done in Beijing, all those highways and so on, were built in the last 20 years. Prior to that, they were just dirt roads that bicycles drove down. That's how fast that country has turned itself around.
Well, because they were writing technology, you know, and that, but when Sagan made that prediction,
Yeah.
the technology was still embryonic, you know, in the
Well,
whole
it isn't so much the technology. They are not very, very good at technology itself, but they are good at having companies that will put together the technology for you. In other words, if Apple has a new iPhone, they give them the specs and everything, and they make the iPhone in China. It's not like they invented the iPhone.
Right.
Okay.
The new iPhone too has like this big. People are all aflutter about the change in the charging port.
They
Because
always
the-
go crazy over the charging port. You know, this is
Right.
the third change for a charging port.
Yeah.
And
And
it's the same charging port. I can't talk anymore. The
You're doing fine.
the charging port that we have in the iPad has had this charging port for 2 years now. It's just
Yeah.
simply you have that port in a lot of your stuff. It's just
Yeah.
what they call
The Kindle.
USB-C. But Apple always felt we have to have something unusual and different. So they came
Sure.
out with this. This
The
was
toothbrush.
this
No.
was the most recent one. That was number 2. The one before it was this big clunky thing you put in there.
Yeah. One of those.
I wish I had an example of that. Now wait a minute. Let me see if I can find a USB.
Yeah, because I have a Mac Air and then I have an iPad and then I have a
I think this is
13
my
phone.
USB. Yeah, this is a USB.
And they all take
They're
all different chargers.
I can't get it up here.
Yeah, know your charger. Well, they said that this moves us one step closer, the New York Times said. It moves us one step closer to like a universal charging port. Something that's good for everything. But I don't know if that's the case.
There it
I have
is.
to-
There's your USB-C. I managed to get it on screen.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
And-
so it's different from this, right?
Yeah.
Right. And this is a USB-C here. Okay. See? Everybody getting a lesson? But so what? So what if there's a new charging port? What they did is they actually went from something that wasn't a priority of Apple's. In other words, usually they had connectors that they invented, and they would only work in iPhones and stuff. Now they've given up and just said, "Well, we'll go with the USB-C, which is used on everything."
Yeah. So relax, public. Now, are you one of those folks that goes out and buys the latest iPhone? I'm just as long as I have something within 2 previous.
Well, here's what I have the iPhone 13.
That's what I am.
Remember, right? I skipped the 14, and then I figured I would go to 15. But there's not enough new stuff on the new phone that would make me want to buy one.
Yeah, see, that's the way to me it was when we went in and we could get a 13 or a 14 for like the same deal. And I said, well, what does the 14 have? And I was unimpressed. So I said, well, just go with the 13. I think it was a little
What I
cheaper.
care about is the video quality.
Right.
And what changes they make to that, and they really haven't made much of a change to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know why I probably need one of those. But I am going to change my watch. They have a bigger one that's a sports watch. Yeah. It helps you if you're climbing. It has satellite connection, all of that. But it's bigger, and because as I get older, my eyesight is not what it was.
Yeah, and macular.
I would like a big one, so everything is bigger on here.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. But the thing that I don't worry about much about, like, because I was thinking about the aging process since I was 12, You know, I mean, it's like,
Well,
what do you want?
no time to worry about it now. Okay.
No,
You know?
exactly. So I
Yeah.
thought, what don't I want? It was like, first of all, try to age as gracefully as you can, and then also go with what works, and don't be peer pressured. I think you know, in your 20s and your 30s, you're peer pressured into having the latest gizmo. You're all out for cocktails at a fabulous, trendy place, and you know the person with the 13 is a pariah. Ooh, he
Well,
touched that.
I have
He
over
touched
here
that
my
advertising.
I have over here my original iPhone, which Martha
Yeah.
and I waited like 3 hours in line to get.
Really?
Oh yeah,
In New York?
those were the days whenever a new iPhone came out. That day there was a line around the block in front of every, Apple store.
It was worse than buying a Beanie Baby, you know, at Christmas time.
Yeah, right. And when I go back and I look at that old phone, it's only this big. I mean, it's,
Yeah. Because there were some advantages to, like, my cousin, who's like not a technical guy. He prefers his little, I don't know what it is, phone, because it fits in his pocket, and he was a park ranger for so long, a forest ranger. And so he needed something that would fit in his Levi pocket and wouldn't slip out. So,
Yeah,
so
well,
much of
I don't know which phone you have, but we have the Pro.
Okay.
The Pro, and then there's the Pro Max, which is bigger. And I've thought about the bigger one, but I mean, I know this one fits in my pocket just fine.
Right. Unless it conveniently fits in pocket or purse, I don't have much enthusiasm for gizmos.
Yeah.
But my iPad does fit in my purse.
Your what?
My iPad does.
Well, in your purse. In your purse.
Yeah.
Okay, not in your
Not in my pocket. I'm not wearing kimonos just yet.
Wow.
But you are getting, what New York City's getting? New trash cans. They're very sleek. They look like Sharper Image or something. And of course, because is their want, the NYT goes into detail about the history of New York trash cans. And apparently in the 60s, I don't know whose Beautify New York campaign this was, but they painted bright, lively colors on the trash cans. And yet they were so attractive at that point that 5,000 a year were stolen. So they went with something a little more just streamlined, I guess.
Really? Wow.
Less art.
Wow.
Yeah. But they do remember when there was a big brouhaha in San Francisco when Ludo French toilets.
Oh, I remember those toilets. Well, we sent Farnham into one of those.
Exactly, and he kind of narrated what it. And it
Well,
was like
what happened is we were testing. They're self-cleaning. In other
Right.
words, you use the toilet and you leave, and then there's this whole sound of stuff splashing inside and everything, and it literally cleanses the whole toilet for the next person.
Yes. Yeah, and it's locked during that cleaning process.
So what he did?
So a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't leave. Remember, he sat there. We had him on the phone.
He did all the machinations to make it get it into clean mode, and just stayed there.
He opened the door and closed it like he had left.
Yeah.
And immediately the door locked and everything started spraying on him.
And Chuck showered that day. We all noted that.
I think so.
That
was
he
good.
was game, that boy. Yeah. And that's why being game is one of the most important qualities I think a person can have. Being open to spontaneity, open to wacky, I hate that word, but ideas, because that's what I liked about
Well, I think he liked to see how much he could disgust people.
Well, there was that. We met him when he was making jewelry out of bones.
Out of bones. That was bone jewelry was the first thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what a femur earring would look like.
Femur earrings, yeah.
He hit me on the hip, though.
Were they human bones? I think so.
They were human bones.
Where do you get human bones from? He probably was digging up graves or something.
Well, he was in cahoots with the Gold Coast killer, who they got, because Patton Oswalt's wife was one of the people that was instrumental in cracking that case.
Right.
The serial killer that plied California with his impulse.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
covered it, and she I think she was responsible for his arrest.
I think so. And that was, and she died right around that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Young. So
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting. And they sensed early on that he was in law enforcement, which he was for a time.
Mhm.
And they also, he had that unusual habit of tying up the husband and putting saucers on, cups and saucers on him, so that if he moved, the attacker would know. Well, that was while he was raping the wife.
Saucers?
Cups and saucers, because if you
Yeah,
their balance is delicate. Yeah, I thought that was just weird. He must have read that or figured it out in some sick way.
You know.
But yeah, that was a 20-year or more.
I wonder if when this guy came into a house, started raping the wife, had the husband tied up, the husband went, "Go ahead, we like cuckolding."
Yeah. is that the word for that?
Husbands that like to sit there and watch their wives have sex with somebody else. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know there was a word
I knew a
for it.
couple like that, and they would invite me over, and I would have sex with the wife as the husband sat by the edge of the bed. Didn't touch me ever. There was nothing homosexual about the act. He just liked to see his wife getting screwed.
Wow, well, I know they probably didn't pay you, but they gave you a piece of pie or something, right? And as your parting gift.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Well, they're really nice. I mean, we did it at my place, so I felt safe.
Yeah, that's crucial, because man, I've heard of some kinky stuff.
Initially, I was very wary about the situation, and then they were so nice. They were really a nice couple, and he really loved his wife, and he wanted her to have a good time, and he liked to watch it.
Well, see, nothing wrong with that. Consenting people, I
found it very invigorating.
Yeah. Well, it's what I've learned is what I've learned is not to judge. I'm not here to judge anybody. I just stick to my own criteria for the life I want to lead, and just go. That's great.
Well, it was two of the things I love the most: having sex and putting on a show.
Oh, whoa. And speaking of which, I wanted to ask you if you knew an adult film director named Tristan Taormino.
I've heard the name, but I never knew him.
Well, the daughter of that, that person has written a memoir about being the child of an adult film director.
Yeah.
And I think that's on my wish list, along with Kara Swisher's book, which is called Burn Book, and like slam books and burn books. Those are familiar to junior high girls, and they were.
This is where they'd have a book and they would slam people in them, right?
Yeah, which
that's like from Mean Girls.
It was. I never participated in those because I thought they were just so defeating.
Well, it's very, very mean, isn't it?
Oh, it's totally mean. The idea is to be mean. It's like the snarkiness that's now allowed in culture so much. But it stemmed from slam books or burn books. But hers is like a Hollywood Babylon on Silicon Valley. And I like her writing anyway. So that's a good one to get.
Yeah.
For Christmas gift giving.
Now, is your father still alive?
The Taorminos?
Yeah.
I don't know. Kara Swisher's is called Burn Book. I'll find out what Taormino's book is called. And so I thought that was a unique perspective, because when you're growing up, it's all normal, it's all you've ever known. So that's when they ask children of celebrities, what's it like being the daughter?
I think for instance, this is a very interesting one. What's the name of the actress? Now I'm trying to remember. I got to look it up here. What was her name? Hold on a second.
Give me a little more. I can probably tell you.
She was in American Beauty.
There was Annette Bening.
No, not Annette Bening. She played.
You mean the one that played the cheerleader, or the one that played the daughter?
She played one that played the daughter.
She's good. I mean, I always thought she'd have a fruitful career, but I haven't seen a lot of her since then.
Let me just go to IMDb here.
It's a
IMDb.
IMDb is the best vehicle for winning bets.
Oh, it put Leonard Maltin out of business. Because you remember he used to have all those books and everything.
Oh, I know what you need to see. 20 essential books, movies
American
you need to see.
Beauty.
I have the screenplay to that. I don't know where I got it. I think I got it at the yard sale.
American Beauty, and it was what's her name?
The daughter, yeah,
the daughter,
Bennett, Casey, and it was. Those were the two team leaders on that movie.
It isn't here. Hold on a second. In that Benning, Thora Birch.
Yeah. Well, she has a name. I mean, that's a familiar name.
Do you know who her mother was?
No.
Carol Connors. Do you know who Carol Connors was?
I don't.
She played the nurse in Deep Throat.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they the term now, Nepo boy or Nepo girl.
And her father, I believe, was also a porn actor.
Really?
Yes.
He could write a good memoir.
And she turned out terrific. You know,
she did.
Because I don't know if the parents bring their business home to the kids.
It would depend on. It would be a situation by situation experience. I think. I just looked
at the clock and we've run over.
We have the nerve of it.
We start talking, and this is what happens.
We're like one of those cups piled on the husband. We runneth over.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see her next week. Her name is there. It's right under you. It's Lori Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, baby.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Now in its 9th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's see here. I've got to do this. I'm going to do that so that it looks better. I'm not I don't have my lights tonight. Again, just before I go on, my machine suddenly goes and says, "Oh, well, we're not going to let you have any pictures in here at all. We're not going to let you have any light." So it's just the lights are off now, and they may go on at any point. It has something to see. My lights are part of the Wi-Fi, and it's a bad thing because if it were just hooked into the wall and I could flip a switch, but no, it's reliant on the Wi-Fi. I'm going to have to write those people at Elgato and tell them that this is just getting to be a pain in the ass. But all of a sudden it won't work. Okay, so excuse me if I don't look my usual radiant self with the lights working here. And at any point during the show, the lights may suddenly decide to start working. So, what the hell? I give up. All right. But anyway, there's some people waiting to come on the show, so let me admit them at this point. And there is Brian Zygmunt, and he hasn't been around for a while. And there's Brian Neary. This is the Brian I-A-N as opposed to Y-A-N. And, of course, Charlie Wallace. Hello there, Charlie. How are you all?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
50% Brian's on the show. I like it.
Yeah.
And you look terrible tonight.
What? What'd you say, Brian? I can't hear you. Your audio suddenly went off.
You look terrible tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Because my lights
you don't look your radiant self, your usual radiant self.
Well, this works anyway. I mean, it does work.
Yes.
It's just that I don't have any lights here to make me look pretty and so on and so forth. But anyway, it's Thursday. Again, we have nobody calling, but that's we'll live with the quality people only calling. Okay.
We're like the starters in baseball. We're the starters, and then you got these guys, relief pitching, but not relief jokes. That's for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I guess so. So anyway, I just love talking to Lori. It just
Oh, she's wonderful. God, I love her.
Well, you know something? We worked together for, God, how many years? Maybe 11 years, something like that, 12 years. And when I called her, I said, let's do one of these things. And we started doing it. It was like where we left off,
Yeah.
you know? And that was wonderful. It was just wonderful. And so we're considering doing a show with Alex and Lori, and then bringing on people like Chuck Farnham and Bubs and all the people that used to do the show in San Francisco, and maybe even try and contact some comics we haven't talked to in a long time, and maybe doing that for a show, say on a Friday night, but not live, be pre-recorded. And then that will leave us one day to do a show with the callers, and that would probably be like Wednesday or something like that. So, you know, these are things we're considering, but we haven't written them in stone, because I just mailed out to Bubs a camera for him, now that he has high-speed internet. So he should be receiving it about now as we speak. So it was fun to send stuff out to him.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully, I mean, he has a laptop that Dana Carvey gave him to use, bought him, so he could maybe call Dana Carvey. And then Carvey started doing this thing with David Spade and hasn't gone back to doing his own podcast. So there's this computer sitting in his home it's a Apple laptop, and it looks like it's got to be in pretty good shape. And he's had it for a couple of years and hasn't used it. You know. See, when I was a kid, Pluto was a planet.
Yep.
I still consider it a planet. I mean, it was a planet when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
I consider it a planet too, but they don't listen to me.
Yeah. I mean, well, who started that whole move to get rid of him? Was that, what's his name over at the New York?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse.
I don't think he started it, but he was an advocate for it.
I think I brought that up. Huh?
Really? He was advocate for it not being a planet?
That's right.
Yeah, because it's so small.
Well, you know, let's go for this. Let's stand up for the little guy. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
I mean, there was something everybody loved about Pluto. Number one, simply because Disney named a dog after it. You know.
Yeah.
And as a kid, don't you remember growing up and loving? If you had to say, "What's your favorite planet?" you would say Pluto.
No, you'd say Uranus, and then giggle for an hour.
No,
That's what we said
you
in
would
Chicago.
say Uranus.
Adrian, she knows all the planets, so she's named them all, and she came to that. I had to giggle. Yeah.
And she didn't know why you were giggling?
She had no idea.
Oh, okay. Well, she'll find out.
Yeah.
It was the communists that got rid of Pluto.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine was always Uranus.
Yeah.
Personally.
Uranus was your favorite? I was
Well,
like,
I mean, if you're like a class clown kind of guy like I was, it's like, yeah, it's got to be Uranus. I mean,
well, you know what's
Not
strange
even
about
fair.
Pluto, though, is they decommissioned it, so to speak, as a planet. So we only have eight planets
planets.
as opposed to 9 planets. But turns out that Pluto may be the only planet with any kind of life on it. So, you know, come on. The other may be, I think Saturn may have one of its moons they feel may have some kind of life on it. You know, that if we find life on other planets, it will probably be on their moons. I mean, Jupiter, you couldn't even land on Jupiter. You'd just be smashed flat, you know. And I think it's a big, ugly planet myself. I don't like Jupiter at all. If they were to decommission a planet, Jupiter would be a good idea. Okay, just hogging up a lot of space, you know. It's this big, giant planet with a big.
But
what?
Whenever you see those drawings or something, Saturn with the rings is always the amazing because you see, you know, I think that's the most amazing planet.
That's only.
Yeah, that was always my favorite planet because of the rings.
That's
So-
basically, it's basically, well, not sand, but it's rocks. They were once a planet, a moon or something, and they blew up. Am I right about this?
What's
The
asteroid belt you're talking
Saturn's
about?
rings.
Oh, no, it was a moon that broke up.
The
Yeah.
moon that
Hey,
broke
Alex.
up. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm. Yeah.
How'd you get the name Moon Rocks again?
Oh God, yeah, that.
Alex knows a lot about science and space.
Yeah,
That's how
I
got
remember.
that
I
name.
remember Albert. He used to joke around about how
Well, you
you
see,
were.
when I was a kid,
Okay.
when I was a kid, I was into this sort of stuff. Okay, space stuff. In fact, I used to at school tell everybody that within 10 years we're going to be on the moon, and they all laughed at me. And within 10 years, we were on the moon. Yeah. So anyway, because I was saying these kind of things at school, which you should never do, they started calling me Moon Rocks. And that was my nickname in school. Hey, Moon Rocks. Hey, Moon Rocks. Yeah. You know, so that was my little nickname at school, and I've always joked about it, but it hurt.
I think
Well, I remember I wrote a jingle one time that was about moon rocks straight from the moon, and you guys did play it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Back
yeah.
on Sirius.
Yep.
Did it dig at you every time you heard
No.
it?
I got a great kick out of it, actually.
Well, it was funny because there's a guy, he now does beer labels for.
Oh, look what I can do now. Here we go. Ta-da!
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Anyway, all of a sudden it comes back. Yeah. Anyway, so you did the Moon Rocks thing.
Well, yeah, and then I had an artist of mine, Jim McHugh,
Yeah.
and he made a cartoon of you. We sent it in one time. It was and it was you in front of a microphone with a moon rock sitting on the desk.
Wait a minute.
And
Hold on.
For years, I had a copy of it,
You keep people.
and I know you had it,
People
but I don't know
keep
what you
talking
did with
to
it.
each other. Keep talking to each other. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Lights
I
start
had
working,
that
and
thing
I'm leaving. Okay.
down in the basement.
Anyway,
What's he doing?
I'll be right back.
he's gonna get it. I think
He's
he's got
gonna
it.
get something. I don't know.
Gonna get something. Is
Oh,
that when you
who is-
listen to him, Brian? Is that when you listen to him on Sirius?
Yeah. I used to listen to him on Sirius, and I used to. At the time, we had a good working band. We sent jingles in all the time, and I got to give them props. They played them all the time.
Really?
Yeah. It was pretty cool. But who's Lori Thompson? Is she like an actress or something?
No. She was on Live 105. She was like his, I don't know what you call, the Robin to his, sort of like Robin with what's his name, Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, yeah.
Let me see
Yeah,
here.
newswoman.
Oh,
Yeah,
what have
newswoman.
you guys been? Let me put my earphones on. What have you guys been saying about me while I was
Alex,
gone?
Alex, we're busy talking about something. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. You watch the playback, you'll hear.
Oh, really?
No.
Am I going
No,
to
we're just
enjoy,
talking
am I
about
going
them.
to enjoy it or be pissed?
No,
She
you
was
won't
a
be good.
She was a newswoman. But then she got to be, oh, here we go, the unrailing.
Come on, Lori.
What's this? It's a frame. It's been in this beautiful frame for years.
Yep.
Is this what you're talking about?
Oh my God, that's so great.
Yeah. No, it was so great. I kept it
Yeah.
Oh man, that makes me feel good.
with my 3D glasses down here, and I didn't ever realize that's a moon rock right there. Right?
That's
Oh,
the
wow.
moon rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's your picture after all these years. You didn't ever think it would turn up, did you? You said you didn't know
No,
where it was anymore.
Well, look at you.
Yeah.
It didn't end up in a dumpster. That's pretty good.
No,
Where you keep that, Alex?
I keep that in the guest room. I have it up against the wall. Yeah.
Hey Alex,
Yeah.
I still remember on the show when you guys brought it out and you were talking about it, And Albert goes, by the way, I did not draw that. I was the musician. I just had one of our artists. I had Jim McHugh do it. He was an artist, and he's a cartoonist.
Yeah.
And he whipped that thing up like nothing and gave it to me. And I was like, oh, my God. But I remember Albert, he goes, look at the eyes.
Yeah.
They're so sullen. He said sullen. And I don't know what that means, but I thought it was, I just
Well, those are
remembered
kind of
that.
my eyes. Where did you get the picture to do it from?
I don't know. Fucking internet. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's
maybe I probably gave him a few pictures of you from wherever, and then he just did it.
Yeah, well, that's me without a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a mustache. But outside of that, it looks like I look without the beard and mustache, and with my sullen eyes.
The sullen eyes. What does sullen mean?
I don't know. But anyway, that's your picture. There he is, folks.
Well, that's pretty good. Jim McHugh would be very proud that you still have that. And you know what's funny? I must have bought 2 picture frames of the same type, because that's the exact same frame I had that it was in. So I must have bought 2 frames.
You know something?
And put it in.
It might have been that you sent it to me with the frame.
Huh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think Marjorie framed this at all. You know. So I've had that, God, ever since you sent it to me. So congratulations. See, I take care of things.
I know. Well, it was great because, listen, imagine being like a band and when you're like 18, 19 years old, you think you're going to be some big rock star. But I was listening to you every day, and I had this bright idea. I'm going to start sending in jingles.
Yeah.
And I would send them in, and then you guys would play them, going in and out of commercial breaks and stuff.
Did you do the one that was the Great American Broadcast?
Yes,
yeah.
We did a bunch of them.
Yeah, well, I still have that.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that guy's a fucking genius, Keith Fee. He drives like a train on. He drives a local Conrail train around here, and he goes, "This guy can pick up any instrument." And I played him the Great American Broadcast, which was some 1940s song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And he picks up a guitar and he just like tilts his head like a dog listening to you. Mm-hmm. And then he just figured it out and played it. And then I brought the rest of the band in to add the rest of the stuff. And the guy was a genius. He could transpose anything. He took that entire vocal orchestra song and just like banged it out on a guitar. With chords. I've never seen anybody so talented in my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point I was making was, we would send in these jingles, and you guys would play them, and we got the biggest kick out of it. We felt like we cracked the magical code. Oh, just send this radio guy, some tunes, and the guys they'll play it. And it was a good time for us in our 20s when we thought we were going to be rock stars one day. You know?
Yeah. Well, it was really good, and I still have it. I know where I have it, but I can't play it now because it isn't loaded in. But one of we did when we originally did a show out of a legitimate TV studio. We had these openings that we made, and one of them was that version of the theme song, the Great American Broadcast theme. And I have it. I'll load it in so that maybe we can play it one night here, so we have it. Yeah. But yes, but thank you. Those were very nice, and they were very appreciated when they were done. And you used a name for the group, didn't you?
Yeah, we were called the Feel Goods.
The Feel Goods, right. It's terrific. Just terrific. Yeah.
No, it's good. I was very young when I started listening to you, but I just enjoyed it very much, and I followed you around ever since. And I got to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you and Albert first kicked off after Sirius XM,
mm-hmm.
you were doing the thing where it was like a podcast, but you would have the images of things pop up on the side, and you would make commentary. And I thought it was brilliant. And would you know, it was like
the TV thing we did as soon as we left Sirius XM.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it was on live stream.
Well, we had live stream.
Okay.
We had that was a great studio. We used a thing called a Trinity, not a Trinity. What did they call it? It was like our Trinity. They called it. I can't remember what it's called now. But anyway, we used this piece of equipment that allowed us to do all that. To have that was a virtual set. There was no such thing. I was sitting at a table, and it just looked like this big set with screens in back of us and so on, and we could feed stuff to the screens. And it really looked terrific, you know.
That was cool. It was so professional looking, and I loved that. It was like you had a regular newscast.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was funny because there wasn't a lot of people at the time that was doing that sort of commentary with the image on the side. And then you look today, and that's what all late night is.
Well, I'll tell you, if anybody wants to see those, they're on our Roku channels.
Oh, wow.
If you go to our Roku channels, I can't remember. I'd have to look at the Roku channel now to tell you how to navigate there. But there's I think it was called Gabnet TV is the section, and we have those old shows, and I think one of your themes is on there. So if you have if you have a Roku, congratulations. If you don't, fuck off.
But Alex, honest to God, I think you were one of the first people to do that thing where you pull stuff up on the side and make commentary on it. I knew Talk Soup was doing stuff like that, but you were doing it before late night was all doing it.
I'll tell you what was.
I thought it was a winning formula. I thought it was really something.
What the most inventive thing I did on that show is we found that in Russia everybody has a camera in their car, because so many people will like bump into you and crash into you on purpose, so they can then sue you in Russia, and it's so common that people put cameras in their cars that run all the time. And so if you go online, you can go on YouTube, and they have these camcorder pictures, these camera pictures, and there's some amazing things with people crashing into things and then flying over stuff and all kinds of things. And so what I did is we had, of course, a chroma key in back of us. In fact, we had this big blue Psych that was in back of us. And what I did is I took like if I were to do it here, I would look at the green screen and turn around this way, and I gotta take off my earphones and pretend like I'm driving, right? And we would have these pictures in front of me, and it was terrific. I love that. I just thought that was the best thing we did on that whole show. It was insane, just insane. And I think one of the shows that I have up there has that piece in it. So, you know, I should put more of those up because they were really good. I agree with you. I love doing those shows.
Yeah, and in the whole dynamic too, where Albert got a job at Fox, and then Fox gave him an ultimatum, and he told him to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, here was the ultimatum Fox gave. He was doing the Alan Combs show. He was producing it, and paying him good money. I mean, this is why I've always absolutely loved Albert as a friend and as a person who I work with. They said, we found out that you're producing the Alex Bennett program on the internet, and they said yes, and he says, well, you're going to have to quit. We can't have you doing that and working at Fox. You know, like I was a big competitor, right? And he just told him, well, if I have a choice to make here, I choose Alex. And he left a very good job at Fox. He admitted to me on the side that he really kind of hated working at Fox. But, you know, he said it wasn't a hard decision to make. So.
Well, he was great. He was so great at SiriusXM because he was a contrarian to a lot of what you would go on to a tangent about.
He's perfect.
And you know, then with Fox, it's like you look at a guy like Bill Maher and the way he criticizes the left, and he goes, well, the left feels like it got more radical and it left him stranded. Albert feels like the old school conservative, and it was right before they started going real crazy.
Well, he wasn't conservative though.
Yeah, but he wasn't. But he was a contrarian to what a lot of the stuff that you would.
Oh yeah.
Go on about.
Absolutely. And he still is. We still do stuff with him on this show, and he will take me to task, So, and I love that about him,
God love him. I'm glad he still comes on. I know one time I missed him when you had him. I don't know how often you have him on here, but I miss stuff all the time. I don't see stuff.
Let's talk to these other people as well here.
I'm sorry, Alex.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's okay. I really thank you. I relish that picture, and I'm glad that I still have it to show you. Did you see it? You saw it, didn't you, Kevin? The picture?
No, I didn't.
Oh, here, for all the people that just came on. It's a picture that Brian, a friend of Brian's, drew of me when I was at Sirius XM.
Oh, jeez.
And here's my moon rock right here.
Your 3D glasses.
And my 3D glasses, because I always used to talk about loving 3D, right? And nice. That's the only way you can draw. Those aren't the 3D glasses they use in movie theaters. Those are the old anaglyph glasses. But if you're going to draw a pair of 3D glasses, you can't do two lenses that are the same color, right? So, but that would just work perfectly. That was wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Really nice. And so how's everything with the rest of you guys? I
got rained out tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the temperature tonight?
It's 75 degrees.
Really? Here it's in the 60s tonight, which is nice. I'm looking forward.
Sure beats 109.
Huh?
It sure beats 109.
I would say so. But I'm still tired of the humidity. I'm just absolutely just sick and tired of the humidity. So, And Ray, what have you been up to? Anything?
Oh yeah. Let's see. I've been on a diet.
Why do you need to lose weight?
Because I'm like 25 pounds overweight.
I mean,
it's me too, Ray.
Yeah, because my back and my knees suffers. I gotta do it. I mean, that's the main reason. I mean, I don't really look that overweight, but I am overweight. Really. Yeah.
Really?
And,
okay.
Yeah. I have arthritis all over, and when I'm too heavy, it just makes it worse.
Yeah, but from the waist up, you look fine. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, my legs are huge. Yeah.
And you have your shirt that says equity. Is that because you're striking?
Oh no! We had a picnic at SF Shake's production of Cymbeline in the park the other day, and I was in charge of giving away the shirts to the union members.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. I keep our Fran Drescher got reinstalled as president of our union.
Isn't she sick? Doesn't she have some kind of? I heard she just. Oh, I just heard Rosie. No, not Rosie. Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
On I never look at TikTok. I looked at it yesterday, and she was saying that she was supposed to go over to Fran Drescher's house, but Fran was ill, with COVID, really bad.
Really?
Wow. You got COVID?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I hate Fran Drescher, but
I think it was Fran Drescher. Oh no! I got her mixed up with Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy Griffith got
Kathy Griffith. I always get those two mixed up. They look alike.
Wait a minute.
Fran
Drescher and
Kathy Griffith is a little younger, but not that much. I don't know. In my mind, I associate them. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
I guess they were around the same time when I remember back then.
Well, they're both jerks. So.
Well, yeah, they're both jerky and out over the top, I guess.
Yeah, but anyway, so you know what bothers me about the strike? and I don't know, am I wrong about this? Tell me if I'm wrong. It's now time for 2 union members to talk about our strike.
Bore the shit out of everyone again. Sorry. Poop.
Well, no, what bothers me, there are a couple of things that bother me. One, that it's not a SAG strike. It's not a AFTRA strike. It's a SAG strike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, which is weird. Yes.
Yeah. And yet I'm supposed to be on strike because I'm with AFTRA and it's SAG-AFTRA. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got to thinking about it, and what percentage of people in SAG are out, really don't work, don't make more than, say, $25,000 a year?
I think over 80%.
Over 80%.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So this
I think
is
it's between
strike.
75 and 80.
Yeah. So does this strike hurt the other 20% that work constantly? No.
It's hurting them, and they're not making as much money as they could be.
They're not making money now. But what about those people, the other 80%, who could
Like
use
me.
the work to feed their families, who aren't working because there's a strike on to help the other 20%? You get what I'm saying?
Yes, and also there are other ancillary people to the union now. All the people who provide the food and the drivers, they're not working. They don't have any work either.
Yeah.
So they're hurting.
There are a lot of people hurting.
Yeah.
All the restaurants that surrounded these studios that had a lunch crowd, and things like that, and I mean, just on and on. And if the actors and the writers aren't working, then the lighting people aren't working, and the audio people aren't working. And
right.
So, I mean, a lot of people are out of work who desperately need this income. And while I do believe they needed to strike for certain things,
yeah,
I don't know what they're striking for. They make such a
Well,
big...
I know what they're striking for. So it's mostly it's the fact that Netflix mostly and the other streaming services show these programs over and over again, can reboot them and all this, and the actors are making money hand over fist, and the actors are getting nothing for it.
Okay.
And the writers are getting nothing for it.
Okay, I agree with that to a point. Okay, I do think that there probably should be a residual system. I didn't know there wasn't one.
There's none.
For
there's none, and they kept saying they were going to do it, and they never have because no one's forced.
Well,
them
for
to.
shows on the streaming services, there should be residuals.
And there's zero.
The only place they really have residuals, I mean, they never had residuals in the movie business. You do a movie, they release the movie, and that's the last money you're going to make off it until it's played on television.
Yes, then it's on television.
Then you got another payment for it being on television. But, with commercials, you got a residual every time the commercial was run. There was a whole system there. And that has never been in place for movies.
No, until it's on TV. Like
so I see them wanting a residual system for that. Yes.
Yeah. There should be some. I mean, they're making tons of money.
I mean, I think the big whoop they're making over AI is ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's not the main one. The main one is wanting the residuals on the. They just want some restrictions on the AI, but people want the money for their work.
Well, that they should, and I think residual. But the thing is, they never set the tone for this thing.
Well, it's
because
typical.
they only wanted residuals. If a person made a movie, there were no residuals. If it was shown on television, you got a check. Okay. Yeah. On the other hand, with TV shows, our union did the right thing. Every time a TV show played, I get residuals to this day for a show I did 30 years ago.
But only on network TV.
No, this was on HBO.
Okay, well, maybe HBO is more fair. I know Netflix sucks.
No, what it was is it came under AFTRA, this particular show.
Oh, AFTRA, right. When it
came under AFTRA, and what AFTRA said, okay, it runs one time, fine. Now, if it runs another 13 weeks, you get another check. Now, granted, I was getting checks for introducing Bill Maher for the last 30 years, and after a while, the checks amounted to 7 cents a show, Yeah. But, I mean, nevertheless, I got residuals for that. So.
But when's it going to break?
The strike?
you talk about Bill Maher. An article came
Bill
out
Maher.
today.
Bill Maher has
He's done.
decided he's going to go back and do his show.
Can you blame him?
He says he's
No
not going
writers.
he's not going to use any writers. In that case, that show might improve.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, the Daily Show, when they did a writer's strike back in Giggity 2, the last decade or so, I can't remember. Daily Show did a fantastic job without writers. It's like I didn't even notice.
Well, you see, here's what they did at Letterman. Okay, when they had that last writers' strike, I think it was a writers' strike. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he went to the union, made his own deal. He said, "What I will do is I will start paying them so much, okay, and then I will abide by whatever resolution there is eventually, and pay all the back pay on that and everything." And so he got to go back on the air because he was willing to go along with anything the union came up with that was finally decided by the whole industry.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because he cared about his writers, he knew that was the essence of his show, you know.
Yeah.
Bill Maher is saying, "Well, I'm just going to go back without writers." But you can bet your life if Bill Maher finds that he can do a show without writers, once the writers' strike is over, you think he's going to bring back the writers?
How is he going to do it without writers?
Well, I mean, I do this.
Just shorten the monologue.
I do this without writers.
I think he's just naturally snarky enough where he could do his own stand-up.
Well,
the guy's been in the business for a million years.
Here's the problem. This is where he's going to get into trouble. Okay, he's a member of the Writers Guild because he's one of the writers on the show, and he's a member of the Writers Guild. So now, if he goes on and he ad-libs jokes he thought up,
Scab.
That's scabbing because he's a writer.
He could get kicked out of the union.
So going back is really he's going to be a scab, you know.
No one gives a shit.
Well, the union gives a shit.
Yes, they do.
You know.
Okay, you think his writers are going to go back to work with him? This is a protest. He's protesting. He's protesting the strike at this point.
Well, who
it's
cares?
The only reason to go back on the air.
Who cares?
I'm not saying right or wrong.
But who cares if he doesn't like the strike? The fact is, the people he works with every day voted a strike. Okay, and he should honor that. And
the people that work with him every day didn't vote a strike. They're following the strike as they probably should.
Well, no, but there was a vote taken at the union. I just got a thing today from AFTRA. They're going to sue another group or go on strike against another group, and I get to vote whether they go on strike.
I never voted.
And it was for the... God, I'm spitting a lot lately. I don't know what that is.
I think AFTRA still run better. SAG's always behind the...
Well, what's happened is SAG, AFTRA, is suing the game people, the video game people, and is going to go on strike against them. So
if I write a jingle for Alex, the new Gabnet thing, would I be a scab if I wrote a new jingle and sent it in?
No, you wouldn't be a scab here.
This isn't a union show.
This isn't a union show.
Okay. Well, all right. I don't know. I think that people that probably work with Bill Maher, listen, a lot of union guys get thrown into the strike.
The other person who I think inspired Bill Maher was Barrymore. What's her name?
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore. She decided to take her show back on the air without writers. But she's a performer. And the question is whether, because AFTRA isn't on strike against TV. You know, I mean, if so, you wouldn't see Lester Holt every night, you know. There's no strike against TV, no strike against radio. If you do a filmed show, yes, that's actionable. But if you're doing a I don't know. Well, I guess the soaps aren't because they need the writers. Yeah. But
Everyone else is falling asleep here.
I know. Well, anyway. But you know what? It does affect everybody watching right now.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how it's affecting everybody watching is because if you're watching TV at night, there's nothing to watch right now.
Yeah, where's Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean,
Thank God it's not back.
Fox, wait a minute, Fox is running nothing but game shows and reality shows. And that's pretty much what you're going to see on all the networks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so behind on all the shows. I got tons to watch, so don't worry.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
I got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
There's less and less to watch, though. You know.
You know, hey, I got Stars lately.
Mm-hmm.
There are some damn good shows on there.
Really?
On
I
Stars.
had it and I got rid of it.
Did you ever take a look at some of those shows you've never heard of?
Yeah, well,
The porn is horrible.
I watched them over the years. What?
I'm watching this one right now called Minx. It's hilarious. It's about this woman who starts.
Okay, you want to know what I think? For my money, is the best of the streaming services. Ever since Discovery took over Max, forget it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I agree.
It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
It went way downhill, way fast.
But I'll tell you the one that's worth the money. It's only what $6.99 a month. Is Apple TV.
I love it.
They are producing. Don't send me chats, okay? Because they screw up my screen here.
They have Apple TV is fantastic.
The Apple TV has some of the best programming. I told Marjorie, I said it's the new HBO.
Totally.
They're doing the kind of really smart, good programming that HBO used to do.
And they don't flood it with a bunch of crap. There's just a very few shows that are all really good.
Yes. There's a show called...
And there's this show I saw called Severance. It's incredible. Have you seen that?
I liked it. Marjorie didn't, but I did.
Oh my God, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. But this show, have you seen Invasion?
Not yet. I started watching it, but only like a half hour.
What's great about Invasion is it's a show about the Earth being invaded by aliens. But for the most part, you never see the aliens on the show. It's about the people and their lives and how they're impacted by this thing happening. And it really is a very good show. Very good show. And what was the other thing we were watching? We watched this thing with about this guy who he's on trial because he's crazy, and I can't remember the name of the show now, but it's very good. I mean, I found that everything I've watched on Apple TV is really quality and good.
Yeah, it's like HBO was, yeah.
Foundation.
Yeah.
But none of it, some of it might not hit the mark exactly, but it's quality, it's good. It takes the kind of risks that HBO used to take.
Yeah.
And now, since Discovery's taken over HBO, forget it, you know. They're gonna have Guy Fieri starring in Game of Thrones. You know, I mean, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
It is. I used to go on to HBO all the time, and now I find myself never going there.
Well, the only thing good right now is Harley Quinn. I like. I don't know if you've seen Harley Quinn, but it's funny. It's very funny.
I was watching the Gemstones, the Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah,
but it's so
I like
ridiculous. I like it. It's just so incredibly ridiculous. I can only take so much, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I like the Righteous Gemstones.
I do too. I like that guy. His sense of humor. I forget his name.
I thought this season was going to be the last season. It turns out it's not. They renewed it, so it's coming back. But you know, I mean, ever since Discovery took over, they've just screwed everything up. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
And they've been getting rid of all the Warners. They've been getting rid of all their big, heavy hitters. Chuck Lorre, you know, does things like Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men. He's a very successful producer. They got rid of Greg Berlanti, who did all the DC programs. You know, that whole lineup they had over there at the CW for years. Yeah, the Arrowverse, they called it.
Yeah.
And he was a very productive producer for them. They got rid of him. Why? They got rid of J.J. Abrams. So
I don't understand that whole Max thing. I just don't get it.
well, because it's Discovery, and all they know how to do is Guy Fieri's eating chili.
I've been in 3 Discovery show episodes. They're just garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just, and they hire a lot. They farm out a lot of it. I mean, everybody does, but to like really low budget people.
Kevin, what's your favorite streaming service?
I don't really have a favorite. I like Apple TV and some of the stuff on Amazon. And
Yeah. Well,
I'm really kind of pissed off at TV right now because our dish. I came home from Oregon and our dish was, they're in the typical contract disputes with ABC and NBC.
Oh,
now,
right.
So that shut off. So, and I actually have Good Morning America outside my door in the court right now, and they're going to do a live thing tomorrow.
Oh my
the
God.
whole court's all fucked up, and they got all these trucks and shit out here because
Who's
of
out
the car
there?
club. There's Good Morning America.
Why are they there?
There's a car club across the street, a girls' car club, lowriders, and they're going to do a special on them, I guess, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock your time.
Well, don't worry. As soon as it's over, you'd be surprised how fast those dishes go away.
Yeah, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning here. They're going to be here, and they're going to be making all kinds of fucking noise.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They got the whole court clogged up. They got security people out there. They got cameras and shit out there, and it's like.
Are they going to pay? Are they going to pay you people for the noise they're going to make and everything else?
No, hell no. They've been feeding them across the street, but
just go get in the line.
Well, you know what bothers me is these TV companies and movies and so on like to use our building for movies. I mean, we were in
great building,
Mozart in the Jungle.
Yeah.
Major part of Mozart in the Jungle. We were in an Academy Award nominated movie last year. Anyway, they do that here, and every time they do it, what happens? They put out craft services. Do you think they say to the people who live here, hey, if you'd like some of our craft services, come on by and be our guest? No, you've impacted our lives. There are wires everywhere. You're making noise. Sometimes you're doing this way into the night. The least you could do is, offer us a soda pop.
Dinner or something.
Yeah,
just go get in line, pretend you're an extra.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They did a show here once called Pan Am. And I took a photograph of all the people down in the court, and there were the women dressed up as the stewardesses. And you know who one of them was? Margot Robbie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was what she was doing back in the day to earn a living.
Well, if you watch Good Morning America tomorrow morning, you might see my house in the background.
Oh, okay.
You should wave.
Or me flipping somebody off out of the window.
Moon them.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, they invade a neighborhood, and then they don't invite you to craft services. I think that's so wrong.
You could do a plug for this show, Kevin.
Yeah, I thought about that big Gabnet banner.
Put a big sign that says.
Put a Gabnet thing in your garage door.
Right.
Oh boy. No,
it was
Gabnets. 8 p.m.
They were here about a week ago too, doing a bunch of filming, pre-filming shit.
Lowriders.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so
they do girl lowriders.
So they're doing a live shot from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, from there, not from here.
From there, yeah, from here. You'll see it live out there, but we'll see it on tape.
Well,
live
I'll
on tape.
make sure that I watch Good Morning America
so
I can see that.
I can't because I'm under contract and I can't see it.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're under contract?
Well, no, out of contract because Hearst. That's what I was saying.
Oh, your TV.
I got Dish, and my ABC and NBC are not on my Dish.
Get one of those little plastic antennas like I have, and you can get channel.
No, I'll just watch it on.
You know how nutty I'm getting?
.com or
Here's how nutty I'm getting. I got a thing from Verizon. I have 1 gig up and 1 gig down on my bandwidth, which is a lot of bandwidth if you people know, right?
Damn.
They're offering me for $30 more a month, 2 gigabytes up and 2 gigabytes down.
And I told Marjorie, I think I'm just going to get it. I can always, drop it and go back to the 1 gigabyte if I want to. But I want to get it because I just want to see how much faster it makes everything go.
We're so far out of town. We got one pigeon up and one pigeon out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like having a T1 almost. I don't know what those ran.
I can't remember. I can't remember what a T1 I think was slower.
Isn't T1 ancient now?
I don't know, but all I remember is when I had it at the company I worked at, it was amazing. It was just like,
that was a long time ago.
It was amazing to me when I was able to get.
But that's wired, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was able to get 8 megabytes up and 80 megabytes down,
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I first. By the way, Bubs now has.
Does he have a camera? He doesn't have a camera.
I sent him a camera today. High speed internet.
Wow.
And I told him when I first got high speed internet, I couldn't get with the concept that I was always on to the internet. Up until that time, I had to do what he did, which was put that little thing on that goes.
Is that what you still use it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I always thought that was the coolest sound, though.
Yeah, but after a while, though, it slowly drives you crazy.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't know you could still.
You always felt like, "Ooh, I'm getting on the internet."
He said there are 80 homes in 50,000 homes rather in San Francisco that still have dial-up.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Jeez.
But they finally got to his apartment house after all these years, and I told him you're just going to be amazed because it's always on. You just go; it's always there. You know.
Oh God, I hated doing that.
And then I found out he was using, I think, Verizon or somebody like that, so it's not always there. But it's always supposed to be.
Still use floppy disks?
Huh?
Do you still use floppy disks?
I don't think so. No, I think he has.
I got a bunch you can have.
Well, I was telling these people earlier that Dana Carvey gave him a laptop, a Mac laptop, about a year ago. So he could do shows with Dana, and then Dana started doing shows with what's his name, the other guy from Saturday Night Live,
David Spade.
David Spade.
No,
yeah, David Spade. And so he's never had him use it. And I said, "You've got a Mac that's only about 2 years old?" He says, "Yeah." I said,
"It's got a camera."
And I'm sending you a camera. I said, "I want you to have it so it'll be on your machine." But I think we should warm up that laptop because I think that's the thing we got to use with you.
I'll go show him how to use it. I don't care.
Well, it would be nice if he was on. We could see him when you're talking.
I was thinking of telling him if one of you would volunteer from the Bay
run
Area
up
to
there
go
and
over
show
and
him.
see him. That you would go over and set it up, put Zoom on his machine and all of that.
I'm a Mac dude. I'll show him how to use it.
I'll mention that to him.
I'll go. If you want to go, I'll go with you, Kevin. It's really close to me.
Yeah,
it's over there in San Francisco in Cow Hollow.
Yeah, I can get there in 30 minutes.
About 2 blocks, 4 blocks away from where I used to live.
Yeah, I know where it's at.
On the other side of Chestnut Street.
If he'll have me, I don't want to bring any hookers.
Yeah, right. No, I'll mention it to him. That if we really want to set it up, I'll send somebody over there.
Mention it.
And I'll give you his number, and you can call him, and you can say, "Alex said I'm the guy who he talked to you about, and I'll help you set it up."
Yeah, won't be hard at all.
Yeah,
piece of cake.
Huh? Piece of
cake.
Yeah.
It'd be like butter.
Yeah. But I said to him, now that you have it, I said, "Are you going to get any of the streaming services like Netflix or Hulu or Apple Plus?" He says, "No."
Oh shit!
No.
He needs a decade update, man. He's like stuck in 1990.
Well, I think he likes it. I think he likes the reputation.
Some people do that, yeah.
You know, and I think he just likes it because everybody talks about him. He still has a flip phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a friend who just got rid of. He's just the same. He just got rid of his flip phone, and not because he wanted to. It's because the company he has wouldn't support it anymore.
Well, no,
so
that's exactly what happened to his old flip phone, and so they offered him a brand new smartphone, right, as a replacement.
You can tell him
he didn't want it.
He wanted.
I've got an updated flip phone that he can use, that he can have. I've got a flip phone that AT&T gave me that will work on the new system.
Yeah, well, I know he has one. They gave him.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what company it was. Maybe an AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T.
And they gave
one to
him,
my mom.
he had a hard time finding a flip phone.
Yeah.
All they wanted to give him was a smartphone.
They gave one to my mom.
In some ways,
but
he's
they
better
didn't want
off.
it back.
I said, "You turn that down?" He said, "Yeah, it's probably too complicated for me." I said, "You're not stupid." He says, "I'm stupider than you think." So I went, "Okay, you're stupider than
You know
I
what,
think."
Alex? This reminds me. One time I saw him at Rooster Teeth Feathers, God, about 10 or 15 years ago, and he was doing some new material, and he walked on stage with his flip phone, and the text was in the flip phone.
Yeah. Where you had to, like, if you wanted to get to a C, you had to hit the A 3 times.
Yeah, and he had it on there in case he had to refer to his material. He had it on a flip phone there on the chair.
Yeah, well,
wait till he finds out how fast porn downloads.
Right.
Oh, he doesn't know about the porn yet. I'm gonna have to
Talk
tell
about
him.
hookers.
Yeah. Do that last. If you guys download it for him, show him the porn before you leave.
Yeah. Give him
Leave it on
a
the
porn
screen and
lesson.
Well, I could get the 2 gigabyte system. Okay, 2 gigabyte is it? Yeah, 2 gigabyte system, and then he can download it from my machine. But of course, his machine will probably choke up trying to take all that fast download.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Just give him slow porn.
Yeah. For the last 5-8 years, I don't know. Whenever I had bubbles on, I've always had that animation going, and it's just the audio.
Yeah.
And to be able to see him, and I said, finally, people will be able to see you. He says, well, I don't know if I feel good about that. And I said, Bubs, you go on stage every night where people see you.
Well, see, that's the whole thing with that old stuff. He's got all that material.
Wait a second, Alex. You had this show many years ago, before Sirius Everything, and on the internet in between jobs, and he was there on camera all the time. Do you remember that? I used to watch it.
You're right. He was on the. He was on the.
He was there like 2 or 3 times a week
on the podcast, essentially, that we did. That was TV.
Yes, that podcast
from my old bedroom.
Yep.
Yeah.
You probably didn't know it.
And we could, and you had AOL Messenger. We could talk to you on.
No, I think we were using another system. What was it called? I can't remember, but it was a messaging system.
Yeah. See me. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have to remind him of that whenever he.
Yeah.
He's just playing me. He's probably at home now soldering things together because he's got the high band. He's probably been shining me off for years about this. So,
There you go, Bennett.
But,
he just doesn't want to have to get out of his pajamas.
Yep.
Well, that I don't know. I don't know if he sits around in his pajama. I'm gonna have to
No,
ask
I
him.
don't know.
I'm going to ask him if he doesn't go out that much. What does he do exactly? Oh, he has a car that's about 30 years old or something.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. This guy loves living in the past.
Mine's 90.
Well, I'm playing the theme song, which means that time is slowly up here.
That we can't hear anymore.
Hey, Brian with a Y, nice having you here. Thank you, I appreciate it. And thanks for the picture years ago that I have kept.
I love you.
Yeah, love you too. Thank you, Brian, I really appreciate it. With an I, okay. Thank you to Charlie Wallace with an IE. Thank you, Kevin.
With a V.
With a V. Thank you to Ray. Ray, nice having you here. And Jeff, you just came on a few minutes ago, but nice to see you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no problems with Jeff two nights in a row, it looks like.
2 nights in a row. Yeah, he's getting very good.
It's getting boring.
Last night, but I heard the program.
It's getting boring.
You techie dude, you.
Boy. Anyway, I don't know what's happening. I'm spitting a lot when I talk. I guess I'm just getting old. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight, and we got our lights back on and everything else. You know what you got to stay tuned for? Jack Bishop. He's next here with a little program called, yes, you know what it's called. It's called what is it called? Oh, it's called The Intersection, and it's with Jack Bishop. We're most of the same GabNet. We'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, do us a favor. Tell her I love her. Okay? Bye-bye, everybody.